You are listening to the global network of podcasters dedicated to the pharmacy profession. Welcome to the Pharmacy Podcast Network.
We are committed to the pharmacy owner's success. PrimeRx believes in empowering pharmacies with innovative solutions to thrive in today's competitive landscape. We look forward to working with pharmacy owners and sharing how our solutions can contribute to their sustained profitability and growth. Connect with us on the web by going to PrimeRx.io. That's PrimeRx.io.
Hey, Pharmacy Podcast Network listeners, I'm excited to bring you a really interesting podcast. I was saying, I call it the green room, which is just kind of another way of saying, while we're waiting to get started, I was talking to our guest about my background and how I understand pharmacy management software and systems and APIs that get you linked into something else. I represented pharmacy management systems for years, and that's how I learned about pharmacy. That's how I learned about this entire sector of how important technology is to our pharmacies, and this is every pharmacy. Today, our special guest is David Kirkus. He's VP of Market at PrimeRx, and I'm going to be showing pictures of this. If you're driving, if you're walking, and you don't have a screen, don't worry about it. I'm going to have links in your show notes. But if you are watching us on YouTube or something else, this is a really interesting system. So, David, welcome to the show today.
Thanks, Todd. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
All right. So, like I said, I have known about pharmacy systems throughout our entire industry, and the ones that have kind of dialed into bringing POS into something, or a long-term care platform, or getting into specialty, or even compounding. But you guys have gone beyond that in the fusion of tech and business, and just want to understand. Tell us right out of the gate, what is PrimeRx Market?
Sure. So PrimeRx Market, for users who have used the platform for many years in the past, it was formerly a business called TrexAid that PrimeRx acquired about a year ago. It is an online marketplace where we pull together buyers and sellers, exactly what it sounds like, where pharmacies and some providers as well can come onto the marketplace and shop for the pharmaceuticals and other products that they need to run their business in a competitive marketplace with transparent pricing, and enabling them to easily shop for and purchase what you need at the best possible price from a little bit over 40 wholesalers that we have competing for pharmacy business, and putting pharmacies in a position where they can really impact their financials and improve their cost of goods in a very easy and convenient solution.
So I've witnessed the challenges of our pharmacies over the years, and it's been different challenges. Recently, it's been more about payment and how PBMs have impacted the markets, but I see change finally. I see change in what's happening with PBMs. But then there were other facets. There was implementation of new versions of software, or there was integrations to other systems. And I think of our pharmacy owners and the operators, and of course we call it like the power techs out there, who are like, oh no, another system to have to do a username, password, or to slow down my pace as a pharmacy operator. Talk to us about the unique integration between the platforms that were, but now it's almost fused, almost as if it's like one big system. So tell me how that works. So the listener would be like, wow, that's something interesting. I don't have to go somewhere else to do something.
Right. So yes, we do have an initial integration between the marketplace and PrimeRx pharmacy management system software. That integration will continue to improve, and our goal in the very near future is to make it very easy to accomplish two things right while you're in the middle of pharmacy workflow. First and foremost, that is to see what products are available to buy on the market, which is going to be pretty much anything, almost everything you're going to be dispensing in the pharmacy management system software. But we're also going to show you what what kind of savings you could attain from buying the product on the market versus where you previously purchased the drug. So if you bought from another wholesaler and we've got a better price, we're going to show that to you right in workflow when you're thinking about, should I reorder this drug or not? And then the other thing is you'll be able to, with one click, put that product right into your marketplace into your market basket. And then prior to your cutoff time in the late afternoon, we'll remind you to go over and go into the market through a single sign-on step where you don't have to go manage different passwords, and be able to submit your orders to multiple suppliers, and immediately start realizing savings.
I just commented about how the PBMs are finally getting a shakedown, and I hope this is going to lead to a lot more transparency. But within the Prime market, you're giving the owners, the buyers, you're giving them that transparency. Kind of describe that to our listeners.
We really are. I think price transparency is really critical to improving the way pharmacies are able to manage their financials and cash flow. It's when you get into the market, let's just think the very simplest scenario. You come on, you search for a drug, type in the drug name, and you're going to see immediately a list of all of the different suppliers, and it's going to be listed in order of best price on the market is going to be right at the top of the list. That transparency, I think, is really critical. And what the price is you see on the market, you're not going to pay any fees to us for shopping on the market. There's nothing hidden, no expense to the pharmacy at all. All you see is the immediate best price, and you get to take advantage of that immediately. You don't have to wait for rebates to come weeks or months later. It is transparency shining a light onto drug pricing in a world that's really been dominated by middlemen who have created systems with really very little to no transparency at all. I think about the way that how much uncertainty that lack of transparency creates for pharmacists, where today you buy a drug and you don't really know how much you're paying for the drug until sometime later when your rebates come through. And then you sell a drug and you don't really know how much you're being reimbursed until sometime later, or, hopefully you don't get hit with a PBM audit and the full value of the transaction gets recouped. And what that does in my mind, I'm a pharmacist as well by background, and have been operating pharmacies for many, many years. And what I see from pharmacists is just an inordinate amount of time that is spent thinking about transactional information. How much am I being reimbursed for this product I'm dispensing? And then how much am I going to pay for that drug? How much money am I losing? Can I get a better price? I need to go log into 15 different wholesalers' websites to figure out if I can take a product where I'm maybe losing money on a transaction and find a better price. And to me, that's not why I went to pharmacy school, and I doubt there's many pharmacists running independent pharmacies across the U.S. that went to pharmacy school to learn how to manage reimbursement and drug purchasing. So for us, it's about taking those challenges and making it easier for you to, a one-stop shop where every product that you want, whether it's behind the counter, pharmaceuticals, OTCs, medical devices, vaccines, anything that you're going to sell in a drugstore, we're going to put suppliers on the market who have all of the products that you want. We're going to make it as convenient and easy as possible for you to shop. And we're going to challenge our suppliers to bring the best price they possibly can, so that they are, if you've got a high price on the market, you're not going to have as much product moving and not providing as much value to the pharmacies. So those suppliers who are really competing and getting aggressive on bringing down prices are seeing significant increases in products that we're selling to pharmacies, and we're helping pharmacies save, so that they can then spend less time thinking about those transactions and more time focusing on providing patient care.
David, I imagine the information being right there on the screen and being able to decide what my purchase price actually is without any of the mystery that we know comes up for a multitude of reasons, which is a whole nother podcast. But you're helping a pharmacy owner you're helping that buyer to prevent negative reimbursements and saving thousands of dollars. Talk to the listeners. I'm sure their ears now are peaked even more so. Tell us how that works.
Well, I think so. First of all, you have to take those opportunities when you see them, when you see a transaction process and you get a response that shows that you're making either being reimbursed less than the cost of the drug that you're transmitting, or maybe making just enough money to at least make a small profit, but in many cases not cover the cost of your labor or facilities or all of the other operational costs to running your pharmacy. To me, that's an immediate opportunity to think, okay, I've got to go find a better price somewhere. And what we have is the one location where you can shop for the most possible wholesalers to look for the best price. I would, every time I see those negative reimbursements, or where you feel like, or where factually that you're being under reimbursed for the value that you're providing both to the patient and to the communities you're serving, then those are opportunities to immediately go look for a better place to shop, a better place to buy the product, and the PrimeRx market is going to be your best solution.
Something else that I was thinking about as you were talking in the beginning, and I think of the thousands of clients and customers, pharmacy owners that Micro Merchant and now, of course, PrimeRx is helping. You've created a network in and of yourself because of all of those separate owners. And this PrimeRx creates an ecosystem of collaboration between people who understand the business. And I think of the more established pharmacies out there, maybe they're like a micro chain. They have 3 or 4 or 5 locations. And then we have someone across the country who meets up with this person through this network and asks the most simple questions as a brand new owner. Maybe they bought their store and they've been an owner for 6 months or something. So this collaborative ecosystem is like a sweet sauce of this whole thing. I want you to share that with our listeners as well.
Yeah, it really is. We're connecting thousands of pharmacies with a network of suppliers who are eager to win your business. More pharmacies shopping on the market means more pharmacies are saving, and we can ensure that our supplier partners remain laser focused on providing the products that the pharmacies need. Again, like I said, at the best possible price. I truly believe that competition and transparency are the best ways to help pharmacies decrease their costs, improve their margin, and start to thrive again financially. I wake up every day looking at news about pharmacies, and I read headlines, whether it's in industry publications or consumer-facing publications. 1 in 3 pharmacies closed in the last decade or so. More pharmacies closing than opening, and with independent pharmacies particularly impacted. It's just a really challenging environment. And the way I look at it is this: yes, maybe we're going to get some relief with PBM's reimbursement improvement over time. Whatever comes is not going to be a silver bullet that just completely
True.
transforms pharmacy economics overnight, right? So, and regardless of all of that, in my opinion, it's very important that every pharmacy owner and operator takes their future into their own hands. We live in a world where the economics of running a pharmacy is pretty much controlled by other stakeholders that don't have the pharmacy's best interests in mind. And the owner and operator of an independent pharmacy, every decision they make is going to impact their ability to continue to operate. And we really want to take the opportunity at PrimeRx to put together solutions that have meaningful impact, that allow pharmacists to continue to operate successfully, and to spend time focused where their time and energy should be in patient care, like I said, and not worrying about where, how much am I paying for my price, how much am I paying for my pharmaceuticals. All of the time and effort thinking about managing generic compliance ratios with a primary wholesaler. You know where you're going to be with your rebates. I would still encourage you, go online, look, create an account if you don't have one, look at the drugs that we have, look at what you're paying now, think about where your rebate dollars are going to put you. You're going to find opportunity after opportunity to save beyond what you're going to get post rebate, to take immediate advantage of, literally paying less, sending less money out of your bank account to a wholesaler than you are now, and not spending time waiting around for more dollars to hopefully come back in. And so, when you see those opportunities, if you think you're going to hit a 20% rebate, and I've got a product listed on the market 40% less than what you're paying for it elsewhere, it's a no-brainer. Just buy the product and take advantage of the savings immediately.
I have seen changes, especially last, I want to say 6 years, especially. One of the things is there's a lot of creative and aggressive pharmacy owners out there who are like, hey, I'm not going to sign primary contracts like I did 5, 10, 20 years ago. I'm going to start really segregating based on my patients, their whole patient environment of what the patient's consuming the most. And a pharmacy in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or a pharmacy in Los Angeles, California, different patient, bases and different things that are changing. So having access to this kind of information to be able to dial in to balancing between what percentage that you're buying, maybe more of your medications through one wholesaler, for example, what's left over for me to really dig into to get even more savings if I'm not. And I've even heard of these pharmacies that are now becoming 100% cash based, right? These kinds of systems are the future of those kinds of models. We're going to see those continue to expand. So it's like this systems is basically, if the system says to you, I don't care what system or what wholesaler you're using, come in and look at what we have to offer you right now. And what does that mean in your savings for this month, for this quarter, for half the year, and for the rest of 2025? So this is great.
Yeah, I think pharmacies necessarily have to think differently than the way they have gone to market in the past, right? Because, we know the PBM system is broken. I will argue that the way we buy drugs in this country into pharmacies is just as broken. And it's, there are a lot of stakeholders who have their best interests at heart, much more so than what the direct financial impact to the cost of goods is to the pharmacies they're selling into. We don't have that level of, we're trying to flip that model completely. Yes, we are seeing more pharmacies who are moving away from having a tight relationship with a single primary wholesaler. We definitely have many pharmacies who are using the marketplace in lieu of having a primary wholesaler relationship. And I think it's economics 101, right? It's just super simple. You either have the convenience of one wholesaler to buy everything from, who's going to control pricing, and they may make that very easy. There's some additional services they provide, some value adds to keep you sticky as a customer and buying as much product from that channel as you possibly can. Or we open it up and let capitalism work for the price of pharmaceuticals, and that's exactly what the market is. It's like I said, more than 40 wholesalers. They know how much product they're moving. They know that if drugs aren't moving through their channel, that means they've got to come down on price. And when they lower the price, all of a sudden they start seeing sales go up for their products. And what that means to me is every day I look at the transactions going through the market, the savings that we're generating, and I feel really good about what we're doing, because I know every purchase that a pharmacy is making on our marketplace is something that they're buying at a cheaper price than they're going to get through where they normally buy it. And the more that we can do the more that we can sort of ease that uncertainty that this opaque system has placed on pharmacies, and allow them to start thinking like pharmacists again and start focusing their efforts where it should be.
So I listened to you and I've read through the site. It's PrimeRx.io/market. Once again, PrimeRx.io/market. Something that I'm thinking about, David, is so we're in an age where tech, big data, it's all working. I remember 10 years ago, we kept saying those buzzwords, and I was like, well, what does this really mean for the bottom line? Now we know what it means. It means that if we can better utilize data, and now we sprinkle in artificial intelligence, and now we have parameters set, and we know even cash flow, we can predictive model out what a patient is going to need that's a chronic patient that's on multiple medications for the next 60, 90, 1 year, 5 years. And you start mixing that into this bowl of chili based on technology. And you have a system that now is going to save you even more money because you're not, once again, just tied into one primary wholesaler. This is a tech opportunity. This isn't being the best buyer, and it isn't being, a wholesaler per se, or even a generic supplier. This is all about the technology and what's going to.
It really is.
So talk to me about you have imagination. You probably grew up with Star Wars like I did, and The Matrix and all of these sci-fis. But some of that sci-fi in my lifetime, I've seen actually become reality. Goodness gracious, the iPhone today, where I can talk to my mom and see her on the screen. You said that to me when I was 7 years old. I thought that was Buck Rogers because that's what I watched on the cartoons.
Right.
So use your imagination, use the innovation of this powerful system based on the fact that it's now in the hands of the PrimeRx crew, and give us like the innovation, the future.
Sure. Well, I think it starts now, right? And what we've done by combining this, very powerful pharmacy management system that has been, driving really strong pharmacy performance across thousands of pharmacies for many, many years, going back to the micro merchant days. And then you layer in this purchasing assist, if you will, that we're bringing in with the market. First and foremost, we now can take a look at your recent historical transactions, look at all of the prescriptions that you've dispensed. We can take a look at what you paid for those drugs, and we can show you right now, if you had bought these drugs, that same cohort of drugs on the PrimeRx market, you could have saved X number of dollars. And just looking at a couple before we jumped on the call today, just a couple of random pharmacies from our network, $1,500, $2,500 in the last week that pharmacies could have saved by buying the exact same products on the market compared to where they bought them outside of that. So that to me is first, before you get too deep into the technology, first you have to get into just what is the data telling us? What is the story we can pull out of the data? And to me, the story is this: if you will take the time to shop the market before you buy, you're going to find ways to save. Every day, almost every drug you search for, you're going to find opportunities to save. So that's in the simplest form, the current state where we are now. I think where we're going is more towards, to your point earlier, of knowing, being able to anticipate what patients' needs are going to be. We can look at all of the historical transactions from a pharmacy and have a really precise, forward-looking ability to know pretty much what you're going to be dispensing. There's some seasonality. We know the drugs that in allergy season, what's going to pop up, or flu season, whatever it is. And what we're going to do is start creating recommended purchase orders for pharmacies on the market based on what we know you've dispensed in the recent days, which refills we know are coming due for your maintenance meds. What are the acute medication needs looking like in your community across the prescribers that you're dispensing for? What are the seasonality impacts you need to be prepared for going into different times of the year? And we really want to leverage technology to take the thought process out of the drug ordering. The days of grabbing a bottle, shaking it, thinking about, all right, I've got, how many patients do I have taking this medication? Okay, sure, I should go ahead and order another bottle of this drug, which is still, let's be honest, that's how many, if not most, pharmacies are buying drugs today. And it's extremely manual. And we want to add a level of sophistication there that not only makes sure you have the right drugs in stock at the right time, but also makes it as easy as possible to buy them at the best price.
This is awesome. This is exactly what we need. This is what we want in the hands of our owners, to be able to have extra tools that make sense, that are working today. This has been great. Once again, a shout out. I want you to go to primerx.io/market. If you're watching on YouTube or you're watching on some video, you see it right here. Definitely sign up, try it out, ask lots of questions. David, I will put a link to your LinkedIn inside the show notes. So if listeners want to connect with you and ask some questions, can reach out to you, but we'll have a way for you to contact the PrimeRx team for them to get you in touch with Mr. David Kirkus. This has been a really good conversation. You educated me. You educated our listeners. We very much appreciate you.
I appreciate the time, and thanks for letting us talk about the market on your show.
All right. Let's meet up at a future conference coming up.
Definitely. Look forward to it, Todd.